Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. We hope you are all well. Today we're doing a quick video. James is going to review the game, but Andy has also joined us. James, I'm going to come to you first. West Ham United 1, West Ham 1. Well, let's start by looking at the starting lineup. I mean, I'm going to have the image to come up on screen now once I do that. I think this is the bit where, I mean, we were live on Proper United channel, weren't we? And this is what we saw when it came out. So we have Fabianski in goal. We had a back five of Soufal, Diop, Dawson, Creswell and Johnson. The three in the middle, Rice, Souček and Noble. And the two up top, Bowen and Antonio. James, we were live on Proper United. What was your initial thoughts when I read that out to you?
Disgusted. Simple as that. Me and you are on a Manchester United channel. We're really confident. We're upbeat. We think we can go there and win. We're talking to the Manchester United fans about the game. Then we do our predictions, and then our predictions come out. And then you said to me, James, you need to see these team sheet before you give your predictions. I think your prediction is going to change. I never forget the words that you said to me, right? And then when I see that team lineup, I was absolutely disgusted with that team lineup. That team lineup, and I'll hand it over to Andy in one sec, looked like a relegation team that was fighting relegation. And we're going up to Manchester United to basically shut out Man United and try and nick a point. We're fifth in the league for a reason, because we've been playing well this year. We've done well in games, and our attacking players have done the job basically. And when you're going up to Manchester United with a back five, three defensive-minded midfield players, and only two attackers, and these two attackers are a man whose fitness isn't really up to scratch at the minute, and a man out of form, then I'm sorry, but it ain't good enough in my eyes. So yeah, I wasn't happy at all, mate.
Yeah. Andy, what was your initial thoughts when you saw this on Twitter?
It was just FA Cup all over again, wasn't it, mate? To be honest, and no disrespect, like what West Ham Fan TV and a few other people have said, this week has been so positive with Noble. Obviously, the open letter, everyone was just praising what a servant he has, and then the fact that you've just chucked him back in the limelight again is just. I didn't think he had a bad game. Like, when I say a bad game, but there's no point having Noble in there if he's not going to influence the game. You'd have him in a game when you're going to have possession of the ball at home, and you could maybe ask Souček to go more forward. But Ben Johnson, for me, he was that was even more worrying than the Man City game on how he played, and he just didn't know what to do. Like, every time he got the ball in the end, he was just clearing it and adding more and more pressure. But yeah, I'm exactly the same as James. I woke up this morning, and it just reminds me of before David Moyes come in under Pellegrini.
Do you know what though, Andy? Though I would ask you this though, right? And now Ben Johnson, I get that. I agree with what you're saying, totally, yeah. But we're putting a man who's right-footed on the left-hand side. Good teams have figured that out now, haven't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, they have. They have, mate. Absolutely. And the problem is what you've got is he's got no one else to pass to. Antonio spent more time in the Man United in our own half than he did, so we had no outlet. Bowen worked his socks off again, and like he had nothing else to do either. This game was crying out for Ben Rama. The amount of space what McTominay and Fred had between the back four, Ben Rama should have just told him stay there with Antonio. And we would have able to give Rice the ball and Rice to Ben Rama, and then we're on at their goal. But yeah, no, I just hope we've learnt our lesson and we go again on Sunday against Arsenal.
Completely. I made a video earlier, and I think I titled it "How Important It Is to Bounce Back Against Arsenal." I filmed that at 7:30 this morning, and I feel that I was deflated. I really was deflated. I told James before he went on, as expected, I've got a lot of United mates. And one of them messaged me at halftime saying, good back six. And I couldn't say anything because, I mean, just looking at that, I mean, what would you have changed? Let's look at it this way because, I mean, I was flabbergasted when I saw that. I was flabbergasted. And I was live on YouTube and I remember I went like that and I thought, completely.
And you remember my reaction.
I do.
And,
Right, so James,
go on, mate. Go on.
James, what would you have changed with that? What would you have changed to have a successful-ish game? Do you think?
4-2-3-1. We go to Manchester City. We play the best team in the country and the best team in Europe. We hold them out for 30 minutes. And Kevin De Bruyne, who's arguably one of the best players in the Premier League, if not one of the best midfielders in the world, puts a great ball in, and our goalkeeper, Randolph, is a bit slow to come out, and they score. Right? We go up there, we play 4-2-3-1. Why are we setting up 5 at the back against a Manchester United team who's got injuries, who played Thursday night? It makes no sense in my eyes, and it really does just make no sense at all, if I'm being truthfully honest. If it was me, Ben Johnson shouldn't have played. Should have went to a flat back 4, Rice and Souček in the middle. If you want to play Noble, right, give them 45 minutes. I've got not a problem with that. Like that's not the issue. But when you're going to like a back 5, you're setting up for United just to keep coming on top of us, and they're a good team. Like, and they in the end they will get a chance, and they've got players who will score. Where's Ben Rama? I want someone to tell me, like, if someone's in the comments or someone wants to come on and tell me why Ben Rama does not get in his team, because I can't work it out. I don't know what Andy's thoughts are on that.
No, Ben Rama's a starter for me. Do you know what, James? I was saying that to my old man and stuff like that yesterday. Say, for example, if we started with that team, what you said, and I totally agree with what you said, and we went 1-0 up, and at half time or 55 minutes, he went, you know what, I'm shutting up shop, I'm bringing Noble on. Noble knows how to. Totally understand that, but not when you make them changes at the end of the game when you close up shop. You don't leave it until we go a goal behind. And I was just going to swear then. How long did it take for them subs to come on? They were on the bench for like 6 minutes waiting to come on, and it's just I'm still raging. And
the problem I don't understand. We are 5th in the league. Right, we are 5th in the league, and we're there because we deserve to be 5th in the league. Results went our way. Even the Tottenham result went our way. Right, so we're sitting up in Manchester, and he's sitting in that team room, and he must be going right. And I just want to know what went through his head. Like, I just don't understand where you can be sitting there. You've got Ben Rama on the bench, who's, let's be honest, he's fully fit because he doesn't really play often, and you're setting up in a way to like that we're so scared to lose. Right, we are there. Right, we are in 5th in the league, and as I keep saying it, and I've said it on Jake's show numerous occasions, we've got to enjoy this because we won't be there next year, and we're making out that we're so scared to sort of go to the next level. And to me, it just made no sense. And me and Jake was on proper United. Right, and as I said at the start of this, I'll never forget the words Jake said to me. James, you need to see the team sheet because I don't think you're going to like what you're going to say. And when I heard it, my first words, that's disgusting. It's just disgusting because as fans, Andy, Jake, if you had travelled all the way to Manchester and you paid for a ticket, food and drink, travel, and that team come out, how would you have felt?
I would have, yeah. We would have gone back home. Like, you know what I mean? you would have just turned around and come back. But no, the problem is, like you said, everyone just keeps putting up these records. He's never won at Old Trafford. That's why. If you're going to play that way, Sheffield United had a go at them, beat them at home. They had a go. If you don't have a shot on target, you're not going to get nothing from a game. And if it wasn't for Fabianski, it could have been 3 or 4.
Yeah. Let's get another perspective on this. West Ham Online has joined us. We're just kind of getting past the starting lineup bit. So, what was your initial thoughts when you seen this come up on Twitter?
I thought it was shocking. I thought it was terrible. But being the idiot that I am, I decided to say let's wait till full time before we criticise the lineup. No, I should have criticised it there and then because it was obvious what was going to happen. We've seen that team against Brighton. We've seen that team against Chelsea. We've seen that team against, what was the other game that we were really poor in?
Liverpool?
Brighton.
Liverpool, yeah. Liverpool. Them 3 games, we were absolutely useless. this game was no difference. Why? Andy just said it. The fact that David Moyes hasn't won at Old Trafford, you can see why. When he's playing the teams that are outside the top 6, David Moyes is arguably one of the best managers in the league. When he's playing the teams in the top 6, I'm not sure what happens, but he's a bottle job in these games. If there's no way he's putting that team out if the fans are there, that's the point I stand on that. I completely agree with James and Andy. If we were there, people would have probably left after seeing that team. There was no attacking threat. You couldn't see one creative player in the lineup apart from the fullbacks.
I think.
Yeah, but the problem is with this, though. I'm sorry, Jake, right? But the problem is with this is that when will we ever attack Man United? If you ain't going to attack Man United when they've got hardly any of their players, they've had 2 days rest. Right? When are we actually going to turn around and go, you know what, this is a great time to play Man United. Let's attack this team because they're there for the taking. It's just, I just don't understand his mentality.
We attacked them at home, got the goal. That's probably the best half we've had, the first half against Man United this season.
Yeah,
we get lucky where the ball was out, and that changed the game. But if before then, we had Man United on the ropes, and that was with a stronger lineup. And then we go away from home, and it's the FA Cup all over again, like I said. So
that is such a good point, because at home in the first half against Man United, who were the 2 main players who were missing the chances? Fornals and Haller. I'm sorry, Haller wasn't good enough, and the fact that he was getting so many chances against the exact same defence that played last night makes you wonder, why is Ben Rama not playing? Because we just needed the attacking threat. And you know something? That game, the fans were there. That game, we attacked in the first half. For me, I think Moyes bottled it last night.
But I'm going to ask. Sorry, Jake. I'm going to ask both of you a question, and I'm going to leave Jake till last to answer this question. Right. I'm going to start with Andy. Right. Does Moyes trust Ben Rama?
No.
We sat here.
West Ham online.
No chance.
I'll leave it to
we
Jake.
sat here. We sat here and talked about it for an hour and a half a couple of weeks ago. And he played him, and we thought, here we go, he's going to get a run in the game. And then I saw that, I looked down, I thought Noble's there, oh, for God's sake. And I was expecting Ben Rama to be there, and I didn't see Ben Rama there. I went, because you all know I'm a massive Ben Rama fan. I think that he should be on that team sheet every single week. And just to see him not on there, what does that show Ben Rama? What does that tell him, He's not, correct me if I'm wrong, has he not had 3 games directly in the side starting every single game for 2-3 games in a row? Probably not. And
I think the only 2 games to answer that, well, off the top of my head, I could be wrong. He started off at Villa, and we played the best football away from him at Villa, and then he went to Fulham, and he played for 55 minutes, and then after that, he didn't play at Old Trafford.
There was also that.
He then comes on against Sheffield United on the 80th minute, and basically from the Fulham game, he hasn't played up to the Leeds game. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
From the start.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jake. No, I was just going to say, especially with Fornals missing, Ben Rama should have played. You could understand if Fornals was in there, and not. I'm against Noble playing, but you'd sort of have a bit of understanding, because at least you've got another forward-minded player in there. But the fact that even I can understand why that's the main reason as well. Ben Rama should have been playing.
Yeah. And it really does just show. And I mean, Moyes, he's been fantastic this season, hasn't he? But it was literally a carbon copy. If that header would have gone off McTominay and not off Dawson, I think that's pretty much, with the lineup, with the goal, were pretty much a carbon copy of tactics, of everything, of what happened in that cup game. 1-0, McTominay scored, the same lineup, Noble starting. And I know Anton said it on his preview. When Moyes came out in his press conference and said Noble did really well in the last game at Man United, Noble's playing. He's in the starting lineup.
Terrible.
Well, we can sit here and we can talk about it anymore, but that's what it was. I mean, I was against the starting lineup, but I was willing to give it a chance. And what was your thoughts? Let's go to the first half then. West Ham Online. What was your initial thoughts when that halftime whistle went?
That was shocking. That was embarrassing. I said to my dad, who I was watching it with, that was a horrific half. I don't care that it's 0-0. That style of football was we literally had 0 shots. Not 0 shots on target, 0 shots. And I don't even think we touched the ball in their box. It just... They should have been 2 or 3-0 up as well. Rashford missed an easy header. They had a couple balls down the side as well. It's not like we defended that well. Okay, we were decent at times defensively, but we offered no threat at all. I don't get what the game plan was, because if you look at the heat map as well, Bowen, where was Bowen playing? He was nowhere near Antonio. Antonio was isolated more than a penguin. It was ridiculous.
Well, to be fair, I was a little bit. That's what I expected to see when it came out of. When at halftime, that is what I expected to see, and I wasn't too frustrated because I knew from 6:15 last night that that's how we're going to play, and we successfully utilised it in that first half. Andy, what were you thinking at halftime?
Thank God it's 0-0. That's the simple way of saying it. I thought if he was going to be brave, I thought it may have been a plan. Get to 0-0, make them feel a bit tired, and then at half time bring Lanzini and Ben Rama on, surprise them a bit. That would have surprised them even more. The fact that we've done that, but like you said, we've made them 2 changes. But who else did we have? This just proves how thin our squad is. Who else did we have on the bench who could have come on with 15 minutes ago to try and make a change? Antonio looked knackered. He worked hard off the ball and everything, but that's because he's done more tracking back. If we had a striker or a winger, this is I've always been his fan, but just think if we had a Masuaku or a Fredericks, the game would have been totally different as well. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andy. Do you know that I actually agree with everything that you just said. Right, I think the first half I was like that, praying to get in at halftime 0-0 because I thought it'd be an onslaught from them. Because as West Ham fans, young and old, right, we know what happens. We sit back, we allow teams to come onto us, and we can't defend for 90 minutes. I don't care what anyone says. Right, West Ham United are not made of like 5 Maldinis. Do you know what I mean? Like this is West Ham United, and we got if we're going to look into this game and we're going to properly look into it, right? You got to look at the likes of Diop. Diop was awful last night, all over the place, and we got in at half time. I agree with you. He should have changed it then. He should have thought, right, we've got 45 minutes to win this game. Yeah, right. We've done the stage 1 to get to half time level. We've done that. If we come out second half and we go, right, you know what, let's go for it now. Right, I don't think the backlash would have been that much, but to sit back and allow them to score a goal and then go, you know what, now we're gonna turn up in this game. It's not on. It's not on. Well, we're not that good. We're not that good enough to keep thinking that we can go behind and recover the situation, because the good teams know how to shut games out better than us.
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, we went, and in that second half, I thought we pressed high. I thought we went at them a bit more, and that left big gaps in our midfield. That left big gaps all over the pitch for us, I thought, which then resulted 7 minutes into the second half from a corner. We're the kings of set pieces, but it came the other way to us. And I mean, there's nothing Dawson could have done about it. West Ham Online, was there? He had to go for it, and it was just unlucky.
Yeah, the only positive I can take out of it is that I hope they put it on the headed goal stats, because I really want us to beat Everton in that stat. But in all seriousness, yeah, it wasn't his fault. He couldn't really do much. It was just one of them goals you couldn't really complain about. Yeah, it just was one of them games. I thought it was going to be 1-0 Man United as soon as I saw the second half and as soon as it started, and it was just one of them games where you just couldn't see us scoring.
Yeah. We're sitting here. Go on,
sorry,
Andy,
Jake. I was just going to say, talking about set pieces, what the hell? The first corner of the game, what we had, and you saw Noble taking the corner.
Oh,
What minute it was? We had a corner in the first minute, and Noble went over there. Why ain't Cresswell taking it? And then
it should be on every corner, Cresswell.
If you're going to talk about set pieces, what about the free kick we had? They bring everyone up and they play it down the line.
The line. As soon as I saw that, I knew that was going to happen because I saw Rice and Cresswell communicating. I thought there's a big gap there. They're going to run into that, and it came to nothing. But
terrible.
Yeah, not great at all. But I mean, in all fairness, I think once they scored the goal, I think Moyes, he did relatively quickly. He brought Lanzini and Benrahma on. I mean, they were speaking to Kevin Nolan for about 6 minutes, but all subs do that when he looks at his iPad for about 5 minutes and talks to him. It's true though. And
it's not what makes it more funny is Jake telling the truth. He's not lying about this. This is actually a fact. They stand there for about 5 minutes going through it when surely they must have gone through that at half time and said, right, you're going to be coming on at some point. This is the situation.
I've been training all week.
Yeah, it's just I don't know about you, but obviously the game didn't go well, and it obviously ended up how it ended up. But his interview at the end, I just want to sort of touch on that, right, more than anything with all his what is he seeing that we're not? If I'm going to ask Andy, and then I'll work my way around to Jake last, yeah. But Andy, what is he seeing, mate, in that interview at the end? Saying, hindsight, I wouldn't have changed things.
It takes a bigger man to admit about their mistakes. It's not just in football; it's in life. If you make a mistake, you put your hands up and you move on. He done at the Brighton game. He put his hands up and said he got it wrong. So why did he not do it last night? I'm just completely. I don't know whether he thinks he's going to upset the confidence or anything like that. But even the way we were playing, you saw Rice and Souček. It's like we've been playing well, doing the same system, same everything all season, and then you're asking us to change. Like Noble just kept getting in Souček and Rice's way as well. Do you know what I mean? He was like, Noble's like, oh, I'm going to run this way, and then that's when the gaps. I thought maybe Noble come on to help make a gap, and someone was going to man mark Fernandes. That's my thought before the game. Maybe something like that to try and isolate him. If anything, he was pinging balls and it had more space. With the gap in there.
Yeah. Right, let's see what people have said. Let's read out your comments that you put, Andy. Afternoon, Jake, James, and everyone still so annoyed about yesterday. That is up with the performance, worst performance of the season. 2 negative, wrong selection. Hope we put it right on Sunday completely. Liam says a positive. Benrahma looks lively at times. Now this is the bit that I agree with. 2 secs, James. Obviously, unpopular opinion. Lanzini was our best player when he came on. He dropped deep, allowed others to get higher and created. He soaked up possession like a sponge. I thought. I love Benrahma, but I thought Antonio, he looked lively when he came on. Not Antonio, Lanzini. I thought personally he was the better of the two. He wanted the ball. He looked more like likely to do something with it. That's my opinion. Western one line.
My thing with Lanzini is, yes, he looked lively, but I think a lot of that was due to the fact that after the goal, they were always going to drop back a bit, and with Benrahma coming on as well. Lanzini did look lively, and yes, I do think the way he demanded for the ball was good, and he did look to do something. But when he gets in the final third, he's just not good enough. He's just not there for me. I would like to see him go this summer, but I do agree that yesterday he was one of our better players. But he's just not there.
Let me ask West Ham Online this, because obviously I asked Andy it. What did you make of his interview at the end about hindsight?
I think Andy was right in the fact that I think a lot of it was due to not dampening the players' confidence too much. But at the same time, if See, he's admitted he got the Brighton one wrong, but yet he's put that same lineup out in 3 games since. So I don't know whether he's just saying that he got the Brighton one wrong because he thinks they're useless, Brighton. But I really, it's one of those, whether he's done it not to dampen their confidence or whether he's just, I don't know, stupid. It is one of those. I can't see why I'd actually think he didn't get it wrong, because there's no way we should play Noble, Souček and Rice on the same pitch at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I agree. Like saying about Lanzini, I'll quickly come to Lanzini and then we'll have a look, see what else is going on. But what can Lanzini and Benrahma do in 30 minutes, 1-0 down? Like, we're asking these men to come on and change our fortunes and like save us, basically. And the fact of the matter is why are these men not starting? They're good enough to come on and save us from losing positions, right, or trying to help us get a draw. Do you know what I mean? But they're not good enough to start, and that's the question that needs to be answered. And if someone could tell me the reason why Benrahma does not play, right? There was no Lingard, there's no Fornells, and I was on Jake's show a week ago, right? And I said Benrahma needs to start games, and I will know more after the Manchester United game. And people turned around and said to me, Tom was on with us, like Tom, with respect to his opinion. He said, "Yeah, I agree with you, but I'll know more against Leeds." He comes on at Leeds. We all think, right, we've got a player now. He's going to be right up for it against Manchester United. There's no Lingard. Right, it's his time to shine, basically. And he sits on the bench again. And I just, for the life of me, Lanzini, yeah, he come on. Did he do much? Or did he do as much as any of the others? Did he do as much as Boleyn or Antonio? To me, not really. Like, if I'm honest, like, we've had 2 games at Old Trafford in the space of 5 weeks, and we've not had 1 shot on target. And we've played the same system twice, right? And it does not work. And I said it on West Ham Fan TV last night. I don't ever want to see him playing 5-3-2 anymore, unless you're playing a left-sided player on the left-hand side, right, and not having Ben Johnson on the left-hand side when he's naturally a right footer, because it does not work. The better teams will figure it out, and they will work on it. How many times did people go at Kafel? And I'm sitting there with my mate, and my mate said, James, they won't go after Kafel because they know Kafel's a decent defender. They're targeting Johnson because they know he's on the wrong side. And that's where it all comes from, all down the sides and all that on basically Johnson's side. It's a shame.
And the thing what makes you laugh is like even on Match of the Day, I put a tweet out because of Maguire's performance yesterday. They're comparing him to Van Dijk again now because he had one good game. But it's just makes you laugh. We've made their defence, which has been shocking. Even their goalkeeper in midweek and against Palace, Henderson's not been great. And you'd think with us on set pieces and everything, we'll be targeting that. But no, we sat back and, as usual, we've paid the price. But we've not lost back-to-back games in all competitions all season. And I just hope that they repay the faith on Sunday against Arsenal.
Yeah. Before we kind of put our final thoughts in, let's just, James, Andy touched it on there. Ben Johnson, I thought he was completely out of its limits there. I thought he completely, I'm all for giving him chances, but if he's playing on the wrong side, and the 2 games he's played in the last 3 weeks have been against Man City and Man United. West Ham online.
But don't forget here, he also played against Brighton. The same setup again. He scored a goal there, right?
He did, yeah.
And he played okay, but when you're playing a man on the wrong side, yeah, good teams and wingers will go, right, I'm going to push him onto his left-hand side. I'm going to run down his left because he's right-footed. And then he's just going to turn him inside out. Do you know what I mean? Do I look at Johnson and say, oh, well, like Johnson, they was all bad. If we was doing the player ratings here, I would only give 2 high ratings to Declan Rice and Fabianski. The rest of them would probably Kafal would probably get 7 because he doesn't really do a lot wrong. And Dawson would probably get like a 5 or 6 because he, apart from the header, he didn't really do a lot wrong. Do you know what I mean? Issa Diop was awful. Like, do you know what I mean? Souček was non-existent, really. Noble was pretty much the same, but like we're asking a man to sort of roll back the years when he's in the midfield with Bruno Fernandes, Scott McTominay, and Fred. So you know what I mean? Like we've got and then you got Bowen and Antonio, who again didn't do a lot. So it's such a bitter pill to swallow, right? And if we was to close our eyes and look at that team from last night, we'd think we was in the relegation battle, and that's the problem.
Yeah. Just before we get our final thoughts, a couple of comments have came in. Now this is interesting. Now we're going to debate this very quickly. Oscar has said Meepo or Debecco deserve the chance. This will completely split opinions. Andy, to you, would you?
No, it's too risky. It's too risky. As you can see, Moyes didn't trust him in the FA Cup game. Imagine if he'd done exactly the same thing. And no disrespect, we're meant to be a top 5 team, and we shouldn't have this issue. We should have a striker already. And in my opinion, he needs to go out on loan to a Championship team if anyone wants him. If everyone raves on how good he is, like what Tammy Abraham's done, like what all other strikers had. Do a year in the Championship. If he smashes it, 20 goals, deserves a chance in the Premier League, but until then, no, in my opinion.
West Ham Online?
I pretty much agree. Maybe a couple sub appearances if we're desperate, but I don't think we should reach that stage at the moment. Probably should go out on loan because, let's be honest, he's been on the bench for maybe 14, 15 games in a row, and he's played one of them. He's just making up the numbers at this point on the bench, and there's no point because he can't even play with the under-23s because of the current bubble situation. So there's no point just him sitting on the bench doing nothing, not even coming on, and there's no point us bringing him on at the moment because he wouldn't affect us positively at the moment. So he does need to go out on loan because he's as I say, he's making up the numbers and it's making a mockery of him at the moment.
Yeah. James?
Not ready, mate. He's as Andy said, he's not ready. He needs to go in League One. Like, if it's good enough for Harry Kane started at Millwall and Leicester back in the day, right? And then he went up a level, went to Spurs, done it. Jermaine Defoe, for anyone who can remember Jermaine Defoe when he was at West Ham, went to Bournemouth, 25 goals. Then he come to us, and away you go. Good player, but he needs to go in League One, 20 goals, Championship, another 20 goals, 2 years' time, he'll be ready. But this all goes back, and I will say this, it all goes back to the winter window. We needed a striker. We didn't get one, right? We're relying on players to sort of come in and sort of keep changing positions and rotating and all that. And sometimes you need the natural positions, do you know what I mean? So for me, not for me, it shows you how much squad depth we don't have at the end of the day, and we don't have a lot. Like, if we look at it, we've probably got about 15 players who are first teamers, and the rest of them are just sort of 2 goalkeepers and under 23s, and that's how far behind we are, especially with like the transfer window and players in it. So yeah, not for me, not ready.
Yeah, bit of a predicament we're in here. Let's hope we can get out of it. Oscar says Johnson should only play as a full back, preferably at right back. Did anybody watch Jake and James on Proper United yesterday? It was a great chat with good set of United fans. Yeah. We were quite, we talked about it a bit earlier, but we were quite positive until 6:15, weren't we, James?
Yeah, well, it was, it was all optimistic, and then Jake read out the team sheet, and it was just like, it's like us falling off an edge of a cliff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, obviously, it's not so much this game that's the problem, because this game's gone now. Right, as fans, we can all sit here and go, you know what, this game's gone. The problem I have now is how we respond against Arsenal, and we're coming up against teams who are starting to hit a bit of form, like your Arsenals, your Leicesters. Right, we've got Wolves in the middle. We've got Wolves in the middle of that. So, like, obviously we can't change the past now because it's happened, but he's done it multiple times here. Like with certain things, that negativity's got to stop. Going back to your comment about Johnson. I think Johnson should be the replacement for Kafal. I think Kafal should be in the team, and when Kafal is not fit or he's injured or whatever, or he's suspended, Johnson can come in and cover him on that side because he's a right foot on the right hand side. And I think that's an ideal replacement. I think we need to sort of invest in a left back or left-sided wing back in the summer. That's urgent now because you've got a player there who can't play that position. And as I say, good teams will find out.
Couple more comments. Neil says the only difference when they came on was Man United defending from further back and we still didn't look low scoring, but they looked like they could have had us on the rebound a few times. Yes, Neil says you said on Irons United last night we were going to lose 3 or 4-0. We lost 1-0. We had to score that for them too.
Hold on. I'm going to respond to Neil on that one. Yeah, too. They hit the post twice, Neil. Remember that? They hit the post twice. If it wasn't for Fabianski, it would have been 2 or 3 or 4-0. So let's not get carried away here and start thinking that, oh, yeah, it's a good result because we only lost 1-0. We got outplayed, right? We didn't have a shot on target. They dominated us from start to finish. So let's get realistic here. Do you know what I mean? We're going to start.
James, you're bang on. And the reason why I'm worried about Sunday is if you look that form where we won all them games, like 6 out of 8 or whatever it was, it's because we were playing every 3 or 4 days. The fact now that we're going back into a week, like you're a bit of lose momentum. I know this could be a good thing, obviously, because Arsenal are playing again on Thursday, but sometimes playing all them games, Moyes even said it in his conference, your body's used to playing that momentum and then you're having a rest. So that could have, we'll see how that works out as well. It's just another thought what I've just come up with.
Yeah. Right, let's do final thoughts and West Ham Online. Final thoughts and how important is it? I did the video earlier. How important is it to bounce back with points against Arsenal next weekend?
Well, if we win that game, I think we end up getting top 6. If we lose that game, it's really on ropes because you can't afford to lose 2 in a row in the current situation we're in. And with the fixtures coming up, it could just be more and more, and we don't want that. With Lingard back, you have a sense of optimism in that regard, but then again, the performance last night fills me with no optimism at all. So it's a bit of a mismatch there. I really do hope Benrahma starts as well, but if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think he will. I just have that feeling that we're going to end up playing some ridiculous team. I don't think it'll be quite as bad as last night, but I just feel like it will be Lingard, Fornals, and maybe Bowen again. Some of you might not like that, but I genuinely do think Bowen will start against Arsenal because they'll want to stop the attacking threat of Tierney. So it's one of those, we can't overestimate Arsenal either, because if we start playing all this 5 at the back rubbish again, we're going to lose.
Yeah. And Andy, final thoughts and importance of bouncing back next week.
This will define our season. This game, I said, after we beat Leeds, would have had to have beat Arsenal or Man United, and then that real sends a message to the rest of the league. I think the only way we beat Arsenal is they done it against Burnley, and that's where Fornals is so key for me. Fornals and Bowen or Lingard is the high press. We need to high press Arsenal, force them into mistakes, and then you've got Rice and Souček sorting out the midfield, and then that's the only way we beat them. And I just hope he's learnt his lesson and we played a positive lineup, which has done us so well.
Yeah, West Ham Online, Andy, thank you very much for coming on to say your views for last night's game.
Thank you.
No worries. Take care. Take care.
You. Me and James will be back very, very shortly. There's one guest that's waiting in the background. But before I do bring him on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video now. Please check out Canning Town Len using the link in the description down below. And me and James will be back very, very shortly. Canning Town Len is your best place to buy custom portraits that you can buy on the internet. Canning Town Len does animated portraits like this one he did for me up here. They're absolutely fantastic and I couldn't recommend them enough. And so just some ones that he did for me. I've got this one here outside the London Stadium. I mean, it looks just like me, really, the best possible kind of animated portrait, kind of animated cartoon kind of picture I could hope for, really. They're absolutely amazing, and they are so realistic, look exactly like me, and they are very good to buy. So make sure you do click the link in the description down below to buy a portrait from Canning Town Len. I'd highly recommend them. Click the link in the description down below. He does animated portraits, non-West Ham related, West Ham related, lots of different backgrounds, any shirt, any background. You can basically customize it to your absolute kind of needs and what you exactly want. So click the link in the description down below to check out Canning Town Len. Come on, you Irons. So we are back and we are joined by Tom. Tom, good afternoon.
Hello. I saw you were on, Jake, as I was walking home, so I thought I'd pop on.
Oh, great. Give us your immediate thoughts of last night's game then, mate.
Sorry about the traffic.
It's all right.
As soon as I saw that lineup, and I'm the season we've had, you try and be as positive as you can. This game, this time last season, you'd have been expecting exactly the same sort of lineup. Teeing yourself up for a relegation battle. We're nowhere near a relegation battle. And what's annoyed me is that you knew what was coming with that lineup. You knew exactly what was coming. You knew that we weren't going to have any shots on goal. You knew that any attempts on goal that we were going to have were going to be for attempting to soak up pressure and then try and hit them on the break. Which I agree, the best way we do attack is on the break. And we have defended really well. But it's just such a dangerous game plan, soaking up pressure. I really don't understand it. And whilst I also agree that it might seem like an overreaction to be annoyed at losing that game because we're fifth and we're never fifth, I think it's the manner in which we went around about that game was... I just thought it was totally the wrong game plan. I'm sorry, I really do. I absolutely love Mark Noble to bits, but there's absolutely no way that Ben Rama should not have started. He should have started that game. I just can't understand it. We were having the conversation last week. I explained that I felt he'd managed him correctly so far, but now I'm starting to understand that.
Tom,
do you know what? Maybe there is an agenda there.
Yeah, Tom, I'm going to ask you this. I spoke to you last week, mate, and you said, like, you won't know more until after. Like, you can't predict something that ain't happened yet.
Yeah.
Now it's happened, and it happened at Manchester United yesterday. Do you think that Moyes does not trust Ben Rama at all?
I don't think he trusts him in games that, inverted commas, are going to be one that you try and get a result out of in an ugly manner. He was going to play him. He was always going to start him against Leeds. I did say that, and he did, because the game naturally opens up against teams like Leeds. But what the thing that I'm scratching my head about is, if you're going to play, and I understand that we had Fornals fit for this, and we had Lingard playing in this game. If you're gonna pick a team to stick everybody behind the ball and have one outlet, surely it'd be against City. They're such a better side than United are, and I don't think I'm being too optimistic in questioning why we can't go to United, where away, home or away, is completely irrelevant at the moment because there's no fans in the ground.
Yeah.
So
what do you think he was thinking though, Tom? Like, what do you think he, like, at 6:15? Me and Jake was on a United channel, and we was very optimistic. The team sheet comes out, and then we're both deflated on a Manchester United fan channel. What do you think Moyes was thinking going up there?
Well, what exactly what he's thinking is we're gonna try and make them not score for an hour or 70 minutes, or try and get a 0-0. And if we can nick a goal, we'll nick a goal. But that is relegation zone mentality, I'm afraid. And
Yeah.
I don't get me wrong, I am still completely behind David Moyes. I think he's done a fantastic job. But if you're gonna praise him for making fantastic decisions, you've also got to say, look, that was a mistake last night. That was a big mistake. And if we now go and lose to Arsenal, which I'm not saying we will, I still think we can beat Arsenal, because I think actually, for the first time in a long time, we're actually a better side than they are on paper as well as a side. But you know, then you are going into that game. I mean, I don't know what I'd be really interested to know what the players thought of that lineup, I must say. I mean, Ben Rama would have obviously been livid. But with the way that they played, how well we played against City, who are a much better side than United, I just don't. I'm still scratching my head as to what he was thinking there. And I know if we'd have come away with a point, maybe it wouldn't have been such a cagey discussion. But the fact is, we didn't come away with a point, and you live and you die by results in this game.
Yeah. So give us your brief thoughts of what you were thinking at half time and then at full time, mate.
Well, what I was thinking at half time is fair play. We defended really well. I know it was our game plan, but to invite them to have that much possession, we didn't really give them a lot of chances. There was that fantastic save from Fabianski in the first half. He tipped it onto the post. I thought that was in. And then you're thinking, well, we're hanging on. But I don't know about you boys. If you're going for a Champions League place, I don't want to be going into games thinking, well, we're still hanging on, and looking up at the time and going, 30 minutes left, 20 minutes left. Just hang on. I want us to go and beat teams. Yeah. That's what teams in the top six do.
Do you know what, Tom? You're bang on the money, mate. You're bang on the money. That's exactly what my mentality is. You don't see Leicester going up to there, Everton going up there, Arsenal going there, Tottenham. And if we're fifth in the league on merit, let's be honest here, we're there because we deserve to be there. You mean the table don't lie. But when you're going up to these places, you've got to show a bit of a threat. And let's be honest, we didn't show anything. I mean, we didn't have one shot on target in that game, and that says it all. Before you say about the full time, Tom, I just want to ask you this: what did you think of Moyes' interview after about him saying in hindsight he wouldn't have changed anything?
Yeah, I wasn't. That was worse than the performance, if that makes any sense. That was that was worse than seeing the lineup, because that to me suggests that won't be the last time he'll be doing that. And what I'd have liked to have happened is him come out and say, look, I've got that one wrong. We really should have gone at him more. And that's on me, that one. And if he'd have come out and said that, I don't think we'd be having that discussion today. But it's more worrying for games in the future. Who is he classing as a big club? We've got Chelsea to play. We got Arsenal to play. Is he going to do the same against them? Because if he does, Chelsea are a better side attacking-wise than that United team last night. They're probably not when they got all their players back. But we'll just get picked off. You can't approach. You boys remember from the Allardyce years. I know he came up and he was given a specific job to do. But we went through periods of not having any shots on goal and just getting picked off by teams. And if you're first time in a long time, in your lifetime, Jake, that we're going to be in with a shout of a Champions League spot. And I just really hope that's a one-off, boys. I really do.
I think going into next week then, there's a few comments we're going to go through and then we're going to wrap things up because I've got to go. But what for you, Tom, has got to change if we're in for a shout for next week for beating Arsenal, do you think?
We have to play exactly the same lineup that we did against Tottenham and approach the game with exactly the same mentality. We're better than them. We can't. Yeah. I really hope that we are a side that's not just intimidated by names of teams. Because I've watched a lot of Arsenal this year, and I've obviously watched a lot of us, and we are better than them. There's no argument about that. This season, we are better than them, as a team and on paper. So if we're better than them, they're a mid-table side, it's them that should be coming up with the game plan of how to break us down, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And
completely.
that's just what annoyed me last night, because sorry to go back to last night, but when they scored on, well, when Dawson got me a 0 in the fantasy league, and a great header, but I'm stood there thinking, well, now with this game plan, we've given ourselves 30 minutes to score a goal, whereas we've actually got 90 minutes. We weren't trying to score for 60 minutes of that game, and it's cost us.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So let's take some comments. A few comments have come in. We are a different team with Jesse Lingard taking it up for us. We must start with Benrahma and Lanzini 4 now if possible. Bring on Arsenal. I completely agree with a bit of that there. Jesse Lingard, I think we desperately missed him last night. Just for that bit of buzz, just for that bit of pace going, just that bit of liveliness there. And then obviously Benrahma's got to start. We were rubbish yesterday, all down to Moyes. Gary says. Oscar says, is there ever a time to go defensive? And also, it's probably not 5 at the back. It's because Masuaku is not back and Johnson is. That's an interesting...
Well, there is a time to go defensive to answer that one. It's when you're in a relegation scrap and we are nowhere near it.
Completely.
That's when you go defensive.
This is the comment. This is the comment that I was waiting for you to read, Jake. So go on, mate.
Yeah. Gary says, have you ever wondered that they didn't want us in the top 4? Didn't let us take the last corner. Never seen that before. Yeah,
right.
completely.
I'm gonna stop him right there. There was 93 minutes of the game. So we had multiple corners, multiple crosses. We had Moyes picking out. Don't blame it that it's a different agenda or anything like that. At the end of the day, from the moment that team sheet come out and we stepped on the pitch at 7:15, we didn't look like winning that game. We was looking to hold them, and who are we to sort of think we can hold Man United? We're West Ham United. We're not Barcelona, anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I disagree with that comment. Carry on, mate.
Yeah, Neil says we had 4 nows in Lingard when we played City, but with such a thin squad, it's always going to be hard. When we have 2 of our better players out, it sums up the squad depth a bit, doesn't it? It does sum up the squad depth, right? I'm going to have to go in a minute, so let's read this last comment and then we'll wrap things up. Adam says, just another game, we've still got a chance of Champions League. Have faith, we are going to finish 4th or 5th at worst. And this is the important thing, just before we run this up. We've still got to have faith. I mean, if we beat Arsenal next week, I still believe I'm not for the Champions League. I'm a realistic fan as much as I'm young. I'm a realistic fan. I can't see us getting Champions League. As much as I'd love it, I don't think we're getting in there. 5th or 6th.
Is that based on last night, though, Jake? Is that based on last night? Because, no, it's based on before.
Yeah. Okay. I mean... If you go back on videos, I've said that before, that I don't think we're going to get Champions League. I just think with the squad depth, that's very worrying, I think. And last night's performance sums that up. Last night's not performance, I do apologise. Last night's team selection definitely sum that up. Gatesy says, how on earth do you pin the link to the show on the YouTube chat? Right, this is what you do is you get the comment and then you hover over it and then there's 3 dots and then there's you click that and then there's a pin thing. There you go, Gatesy, there you go. Thank you very much for watching on this edition of the Have Your Say. It was just going to be James and me, but we've had loads of people come in. Tom, thank you very much for coming on.
No problem.
To speak your thoughts. Cheers, mate. Good show, James.
Very good, mate. And yeah, we are still live, and we're gonna we will wrap it up. Jake will wrap it up. But yeah, my final thought on it, mate, is that I'm going to be honest with you right now. That if he ever goes back to if we turn up Sunday and I see 5 at the back against Arsenal, I'm sorry, but he just doesn't fancy it. Like, I agree what you're saying to a point about Champions League. Before we go, like, but we've got out of 10 games, we've got one team who's like, I think could be a problem, like, and that's Chelsea. Other than that, like Leicester, like they can be got at. Fulham beat them at their place, and like if teams can beat them, the rest of them are all in the bottom half fighting to stay in the league, and some of them might, by the time we get to them, they might be safe, if that makes sense. They might just like, it might be a free game for us. But yeah, talk to me on Thursday, mate.
Yeah, we will definitely. Right, there's one more comment that's come in. I've got to go and put the tea in the oven. So, Mama Cox has told me to put the tea in the oven at 5 o'clock, and it's 5 o'clock. So, last comment. Neil says, I think people forget it takes about 3 to 5 years to build a team from relegation battles to a top 6 team, and Moyes has got us close to that in his first full season as manager. That I do kind of agree with that, and I think maybe, we are getting a bit too big for our boots, and perhaps we're not going to finish in these Champions League, Europa League places. I mean, anything now is going to be a fantastic bonus of what we do. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Now I haven't got any homework, actually, Gary. First week, there's no homework, so there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to James for co-hosting with me again on Have Your Say. I will be back very, very soon for a brand new video. Come on, your minds, and let's hope for a positive performance next week. Goodbye.